All right, we should be live and it should be recording now. So thank you everybody for joining. I'm sure we'll probably have more hop on as we are, as Maris is speaking, but last year I had this thought that I wanted to bring more value to agents and to the real estate community as a whole. And I've known Maris for a couple of years now, and I know the type of value that she adds and the content and just the brilliant, she's so brilliant. I don't know how to say it that quite right, but just with marketing. And so I know everything that she's going to be speaking on today is just, it's a lot of great nuggets that you can take and go back and implement in your business, whether you're a real estate agent, a lender, a title company, a transaction coordinator like myself. There's just so much good stuff. So I am Christy Winfrey. For you, those of you who don't know me, I own Legacy Transactions. We are a transaction coordination business. And Maris, who is going to be speaking, I met her a couple of years ago at a business retreat and just had the opportunity to hear her speak there. And then she has spoken at a couple of our transaction coordinating conferences as well. And like I said, she just always brings such value that I wanted to make sure that I approached her and asked if she would be willing to come on and do a Zoom for us to help share her wisdom that, she's learned over several years and how we can help grow our pipelines this year. So Maris, I'll let you take it away.
I love it. Thanks, Christy. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining. If you're live with me, watching this later or on Facebook, I'm so excited that Christy invited me to do this, and kudos to you, Christy. I think that even reaching out, not a lot of people take the time or initiative to put together like an intimate training like this. I'm typically asked to speak at conferences and all of that, and I love doing stuff like this. So I love that it's more of an intimate setting. I want you guys to know throughout this entire time that we have together, you can put questions in the chat. I don't know, Christy, if there's another way on Facebook where people can leave comments or ask questions.
Yeah.
Please be interactive if you want to, or you want to chime in. I'm going to talk a lot. I can do this class easily for 3 hours, and we only have one. So I'm going to probably just pack as many nuggets as I can into this. And then I just recently wrapped up my course that follows this and goes super in depth. You guys are going to get $100 off if you want to take advantage of that discount for being a part of Christy's course. So you want to thank Christy for that discount code. And I'll put the link and all that, or you can get it later. It's not important, but I wanted y'all to know that in this time together, I'm going to focus on mindset and your nuggets. You're going to be able to walk away and implement a ton of stuff. The only reason you would even be interested in the course is if you really want the hands-on technical training and kind of like a process and system and guide and all the tools and my, planning stuff that you want to use later, pass off to your marketing person. So that's going to be available to you. But without further ado, I am going to jump straight in. We are going to talk about how to add more deals to your pipeline using social media. And the way that I think about this, well, I guess let me kind of introduce myself too, on top of Christy's introduction. I have a marketing company. It's technically like a real estate marketing company. I used to be an assistant for a realtor about probably a little over 8 years ago. I only did that for 6 months before I decided to start my company. And I did it just out of pure passion for seeing there being a need for agents. And, even I've learned since then, vendors and small businesses in the real estate world needing custom marketing support that they just weren't getting, unless they were going to hire somebody in-house. And so for me, I was like, okay, how can I create a company that can offer what feels like custom marketing solutions, but that doesn't cost what hiring an in-house person is? And if I can get really specialized and really good at this, then I'll be able to replace people's in-house marketing needs as I grow my team and grow I don't like calling it an agency, but it's kind of like a boutique marketing agency to support these agents or people in the real estate world with their social media, print marketing, branding, digital marketing, all of that kind of stuff. So flash forward, the company has now been around for a little over 7 years. My husband runs the company with me. We're completely virtual. now, like that the pandemic kind of allowed us to expand even more and become completely equipped with being virtual. So we work with agents and teams all across the country. We work with small businesses as well, but my personal passion has been growing my business organically. And I was very, very adamant that although I was a marketing company, if I was going to teach real estate agents how to get business from their sphere and build a repeat and referral business, I needed to have a track record of being able to grow and expand and use my sphere and my network and my social media platform to grow and nurture relationships that would yield me that repeat and referral business. So now that I've been able to do that, I've always kind of traveled around and spoke, but definitely the last 3 years or so, I've done it a lot more to teach on this subject. And it's been really awesome for me to see other people implementing these very basic, I would say organic and like fundamental systems and thought processes that I use in social media to continue to get business. So I say that to preface as well that like I'm extremely passionate in 2023 at kind of debunking a lot of what you guys are being told that you need to be doing, because I've seen this like insane craze of like marketing people getting on Instagram and like all these people just like capitalizing like on using social media to say you have to do this to grow your business. And I see a lot of realtors and like-minded business owners trying to adopt a lot of these trends, although it doesn't really apply to your industry as much. And what I mean by that is that real estate is a relationship business. And for me, and just like TCs, like we have to build relationships with realtors as well in order for us to continue to get business from them, right? So how can you continue to get business from your sphere? Show up online the way that you show up offline, in a way that's going to organically attract people to you. I don't want you guys to think that this is going to be a class on me hammering in your head that you have to do video and you have to do reels and you have to do all this stuff that you're hearing you have to do. You can do that, but what I'm hoping you're going to gain from all of my nuggets is that you can show up in a very simple way on social media that's actually more effective and going to actually start getting you people in your DMs and business converted. So I am going to give you guys my handle in case anybody. Oh, I love this. Someone was working in the yard. Good for you, Lindsay. I wish I was working in my yard, but that's okay if your camera's not on. If anybody else wants to turn their camera on, you can. Or you can leave it on. Okay. At Maris Marketing. So I just chatted my Instagram handle if anyone wants to like look me up while you're on this. So when you go to my Instagram, you can also see like there is a Marist Inc. Instagram, but we don't ever use it and we don't ever post on it. And that's kind of because I've become even more adamant that I try this organic method a little bit longer before I really start pumping into that. So there's no confusion where I get my business. So on my personal Instagram, I use my personal Instagram as a way to network with real estate agents or small business owners. And when you look at it, you're going to feel like this is a personal page. You're going to be like, this doesn't feel like it's a business account when you're looking at the content. You'll see stuff about marketing and tips about marketing, but it's scattered throughout that. Other than that, you're going to see what I like to call like my other content pillars. And so I've kind of adopted this mindset of showing up online the way that I show up offline. And I have this idea that people love you and are drawn to you and attracted to you and choose to work with you when you have the opportunity to sit in front of them in person or grab coffee or connect with them. And that's why a lot of us in this industry as a whole prefer to set that coffee appointment, that buyer appointment, that listing appointment, that Zoom, that whatever, because the human connection is usually easier to lead to, ultimately somebody choosing you over somebody else. So for me, I'm like, well, if we can translate this to the digital space And on social media, people feel that same feeling that they get when they're talking to you in person or hanging out with you in person or meeting with you. Then people will likely come to like, know, and trust you. If people feel like they like you, know you, or trust you, they will oftentimes choose to do business with you. And definitely if they feel like they like you, know you, or trust you more than the next person, they will choose to do business with you over that person, regardless of expertise. Because in this industry, especially if you're a real estate agent, and Christy, correct me if is it mostly realtors that are joining this?
Yes, mostly. I've got Jason and Emily that are lenders.
Okay, cool. So we have a good mix of everyone. But I can't stress it enough. Like, it's relationship business, and everyone in this industry, we all have competition. We all have other people offering the same services that we're offering, that whether it's the agent that's your ideal target audience, or it's your sphere, like the people in your neighborhood or whatever, the people in your database that you're trying to convert, or your local market that you're trying to convert to choose you as a realtor. So there's two ways that you can successfully accomplish this in general. You can have a proven track record, and you can lean completely on your expertise and your sales and your all of that, like your proof of actually doing this. And you can cold call, and you can door knock, or you can farm, or you can whatever to try and get new business, or you can run ads on social media, or you can create accounts that are only focused on the real estate that's active, or the services you offer, whatever, hoping that people will come across your page and then choose to have a consultation with you and work with you. Or where I like to focus in the area I kind of live and breathe in is we already have people connected to us, and we have those people have all of those people connected to them who are likely in the same industry or who can refer people back to us. So when I use my social media, I think about how can I connect with people more, and how can I build and nurture those relationships. So the first thing that I want to say is, because I know this is a question everyone's probably thinking, is whether you should have a personal account or a business account, because I keep talking about both. You should have both. Typically, if you have like a company name, the only instance where I don't recommend that you have a personal and a business, when I'm thinking of Instagram specifically, is if you're an individual realtor. If you're an individual realtor that's just branding with your name, I don't think you should have a Maris Lamson realtor page and a Maris Lamson just my personal page. Okay. But if you have a brand outside of your name, and you're growing a team, and you're identified by your company for the most part, definitely if you have other agents on your team, then you should have a business page, because your business page is always going to serve as like a landing page of credibility. And that's how it works on Facebook as well. Your business page on Facebook serves as a secondary website, which you should think of as a landing page of credibility. You can collect testimonials there. You can post your closings, all of your transactions, some of that stuff you'll still post in your personal, but you can make that really heavy as people end up there and they can see proof of your success, social proof from people who have worked with you and all of that kind of stuff. And they want to also see that you're active on social media. If you're a real estate agent for sure, and you're saying that you're going to market their house on social media, you need some proof of that. So your business page is important for that reason. It's also important to have a business Facebook page, because you want your Instagram account, whether you're a personal account or a business account, you want it set up as a creator profile type. I'm going to type that. So the profile type that you want is called professional creator profile. So they used to have just personal and business. Now they have personal and professional. Under this umbrella of professional, they have professional business and professional creator. What you'll find is they added in the creator profile. Now it's probably been a couple of years. They added in that profile type to separate the businesses just trying to sell with the content creators saying, hey, I'm here to share value, to add value to this platform and to connect and meet new people on this platform. So the creator profile is designed for people who want to add value and essentially create content and are looking to connect with more people. What that means for you as a business owner is if you're looking to connect with more people and get more exposure, you would want the creator profile so you have access not only to all the music, all the new tools that content creators have, but ultimately you want to communicate to Instagram, hey, I'm here and I want to connect with people. So push my stuff in your explore page, share my reels, and give it more exposure. You don't want to overly communicate that you're just a business trying to have a landing page, or typically the business only professional accounts are going to be the ones that are primarily generating their business or their sales through ad spend, right? Like they're trying to run ads, like they're selling a product, or they're a brick and mortar business. Like it's not a relationship business the way you guys are typically running a relationship based business, where you're looking to connect with people even more so than just it being like business to consumer, right? So as we're thinking through this, you first want to set that up, okay? And then what I'm going to kind of educate you on here, because I feel like it's the most important and the fastest way for you to get business, is to talk about your personal profile and how to mix in business and how to properly engage with people to where it's sparking these conversations that's going to get you more business. Okay, so when you have your Instagram account, I'm going to recommend that you create in your Instagram account and then funnel that to your Facebook. Meaning if your personal Facebook is connected to your personal Instagram account, everything you do on there can just get posted to the other one. In full transparency, I do not automatically share my actual posts, like my grid posts or Reels is another topic, but I don't automatically share like my grid posts from Instagram to Facebook. I will manually upload the images and captions separately because I want to tag individually. When you're talking in the caption, sometimes if you're tagging businesses or you're tagging locations, it doesn't always translate properly. And it also doesn't automatically show up as being a public post. It'll automatically limit it to friends of friends when you do the direct share in the grid post setting. So that's why I manually upload that way, but I don't want to freak you out. Like if it's easier for you and saves you time, you can do it. And it's not like the end of the world. I just take the time to post it individually. Now, when it comes to stories, I let those automatically funnel over. And the reason I lead with Instagram instead of Facebook is the editing tools are easier. They have more sticker options. It's just easier to navigate in Instagram stories. And personally, I find it not only more user-friendly, but just more fun to create stories on Instagram. And so that's why I do it that way. But you want your stories for sure to show up in both places. Now, if you apply any of the tips I'm about to give you, if you're able to, you should be able to hear them and process them through a business perspective, should you need to for your business account. But again, disclaimer, I'm going to word everything as like quote unquote from your personal perspective. So when we're thinking about creating content and we're thinking about how can we connect with people, this is where I want you guys to think about 5 different content pillars. And another word for this can be categories. So these would be categories of things that you can post about that other people would know to be true about you if they're close with you outside of social media. So for myself, to give an example, I live in Nashville, Tennessee, and I'm right in the city, and I'm always out and about trying new restaurants. And a lot of people know that I love knowing what's new and what's going on in Nashville. And I'm always out and about with my husband and my friends. So Nashville, Tennessee, where I live, is definitely a huge content pillar for me personally. If you're in real estate, I would imagine that would be a huge pillar for you personally, because you're wanting to show people that you live and breathe and walk around in the city that you're selling real estate. Okay, so number 2, I have an identical twin sister who also lives here, I'm very close to. She has my niece and nephew that I'm very close to, and her husband. I'm married, so I have a little bit of like my little family network that's right here in the city. Family is super important to me. My parents, there's 5 kids total. Everybody knows this about me outside of social media, how much I love my family and how I make efforts to travel to Atlanta to see them and the whole 9, right? So I know that people know that to be true about me. That's something very important to me that other people can relate to. So I've chosen for family to be one of my content pillars. I'm also a really big foodie. Outside of like me liking to go to restaurants, I like to cook. I do Whole30 once a quarter. I love sharing recipe tips. I love sharing like any cool finds that I have, whether it's like healthy or not healthy. Like most people that follow me will learn and know and come to understand, or don't follow me, that I love to cook or I love to share what I'm making or how I make it. Okay. So that's true. I own a marketing company. Please hear me when I did not say that first. I didn't say the first thing out of my mouth is not I own a marketing company. And that's a pretty big part of my life. I'm not any different than you guys. I work 24/7. I think about work nonstop. And I know that you guys are thinking about work 24/7. Everyone who's in the real estate industry is thinking about real estate 24/7. I'm convinced of it. So it's a huge part of my life, but it doesn't define me. And not every single person that knows me needs what I'm offering. And more importantly, not everyone that knows me and might potentially need what I'm offering does not need what I'm offering as a business service every single day of their lives. So that tells me, just by common sense, that like I do not need to be bombarding my entire sphere with what I do 24/7. I don't know any other industry outside of real estate who talks about their business on their personal pages as often as a real estate agent does. Realtors will talk about real estate 24/7 on their page, and they'll just engage with a bunch of other real estate agents and they'll compete with each other. And it's the only thing that I ever see them ever post about. Everyone as a collective is getting better. I feel like it's sharing some personal stuff, but I'm really passionate about breaking this mold because I'm convinced that in this industry, like I said before, there's so many of us in every area, whether you're a vendor or you're a realtor, who end up connecting online, that we are filling our followers and our feeds with people in our same industry. And we're neglecting our sphere and the people that we actually want to get business from. And just because we're consuming a ton of real estate content all day, every day, because of everyone we follow, we're forgetting the fact that all of these people don't follow a bunch of real estate agents, and they're not expecting to see, 10 different posts about real estate from one person in the same week. So I want to break the idea that you have to share about real estate all of the time in order to maintain brand awareness. I think a long time ago, like I remember like when everyone, like just in 2015, it was just like everyone got a business Facebook page and everyone's mindset was I have to post about real estate every single day so they see my name associated with real estate. And that's what's going to help remind them that I'm in real estate. And that's not true. I can promise you, if you post about real estate every single day of your life and you bombard people with every little detail about your business 24/7, a lot of people who are not your biggest fans, but just happen to be in your sphere, your followers list, will either mute you and you'll never know that you're muted because they don't want to unfollow you. They don't want you to know that they're annoying. They're just going to mute your post. And so they're not going to watch your stories. They're not going to look at your content. And you've just lost the opportunity of actually getting that brand awareness online because you've annoyed them so much with talking about real estate 24/7. If they're not looking to buy, sell, invest, or become an agent, they probably don't want to hear about it that often. So you have to understand your target audience is everybody. If you're a realtor, every single don't mishear me or whatever. Don't misunderstand me. You should have like a niche target audience, right? Like probably not everyone is your ideal client. I'm not talking about your ideal client. I'm just simply saying people need somewhere to live. So you could get business from every person that follows you, right? And they definitely know a bunch of people who can follow you. So if you can find a way to get people interested in following you, and when I say following you, like engaging with your content, being excited about seeing that you're active or posting or what's on your story, then they will be there when you're posting every so often about your business. So my fourth pillar is my real estate marketing company. I do branding, I do marketing, huge part of my life. It does not define who I am. I can promise you my parents don't think of marketing the first time they think of me, okay? My best friends, they know I do that. It's not what they think of immediately. So separate from marketing, then I don't know, you could throw anything else in. Let's just say hobbies. Like sometimes I'm really into fitness, sometimes I'm not. Sometimes I travel over periods of time, sometimes I don't. I have random hobbies that I'll pick up and put down and pick back up. I would say whenever I am doing something and I'm really into it, I'll share about it. So that's usually a fifth pillar. So I have my 5 pillars. Now, I also think of these as connector points. So I can have multiple connector points with any one of you. Maybe you don't need marketing. You have had your logo done forever and you're obsessed with it. You have an in-house marketing person, or you just flat out don't care about marketing for whatever reason. And so you don't care about following me for my marketing tips. But maybe you really love my recipe tips, or you really love Nashville and you want to come to Nashville and you just want to know what I'm up to in Nashville. You might follow me for one or more of my connector points, but because I'm rotating through them, you get a feel of them, and you're also going to come across my other content pillars as you're following me for the 20% of content that's just my recipes, or the 20% of my content that's just about Nashville. So over time, to stay sustainable, when you're sharing and posting and basically showing up online the way you show up offline, consistently, people will not only not be annoyed when you share about your business, they're going to be paying attention to it more. Like instead of just skimming over your real estate post, when you share something about your business, because it's not every day, they're going to be like, oh, what is this? Must be something important if they're sharing about their business, because, you know, Maris doesn't post about her marketing company all the time on her grid or her feed, right? So typically that's them when I'm doing a speaking gig or something like that. And then it reminds everybody, right? But this is me talking about your grid posts, okay? I'll go into like stories next. So when you're thinking about sharing, I want that to really, really stick in your brain. With your business, you can come up with content pillars in your business that are more interesting than just sharing your listings or oversharing tips or whatever. Come up with, you know, just in general, storytelling is the move. So whether you're telling a story about a past client or your perspective from helping a buyer move out of state versus their testimonial, whatever it is, like you can share more stories, you can educate people in the city, you can talk about the schools, you can go and do videos, come up with your own pillars for the business page stuff, but keep that under the business profile name. Your personal pages, mix in the business in that kind of way. So if you didn't catch on already, like rotating through, like hypothetically speaking, you're someone who wants to post 5 times a week, whether that's Monday through Friday to make it easy or just 5 times a week, you can rotate through that content. So you end up posting about that area of your life. 20% of your feed or your content ends up being about that. That is plenty of enough times for people to hear about what it is that you do, and they will think about it. Okay. So the next thing I want to talk about is your stories and why they're completely different strategy than what you're doing on your grid. All you're doing by posting through your content pillars on your grid is, number one, you're hopefully adding some sort of value, which I'm going to give you like my crafting a perfect post, my 3E rule after I talk about stories. But hopefully you're adding some sort of value, but mainly you're creating opportunities on your grid with your feed, with your content you're sharing, to connect with the people who already know you on some level, that they relate to you, and you're discovering what people are drawn to you for. You'll find the people who love you because you do yoga or whatever it is that you do that you love. Or if your kids are in sports and you start sharing about that more, you'll learn other people whose kids are in sports, and you'll start to find other ways to connect with people. So that's what your grid is for. It's a little bit for people to end up on your page and be able to build a like, no trust factor. Like they should be able to go through 12 or 15 of your posts, if you will, and see your content pillars 3 times within those 15 posts. And within those 15 posts, they should feel like they have a pretty good understanding of who you are as a person. And they're going to know pretty quickly whether or not they like you or whether or not you guys relate. That in itself could just make people be like, whoa, this is my kind of person. And then they know you do real estate and they want to reach out to you. Okay. So it's for credibility and it's for creating opportunities to connect with people. Now, your stories are for building and nurturing those relationships. And the reason that it's different is because it's more, although it's public, technically, it's a more private area of your Instagram page that you're creating content. It's like dawning on me that I normally have my screen behind me. Do you think, does anyone in here not know what a story is? Hopefully you do. It's like the little bubbles. Does anybody not know? Can you type it in the chat? Should I just share my screen and show?
Yeah, I have it set so you can share your screen if you want to.
I'll share it really fast just because I don't want anyone to be like completely lost when I'm talking about this. Okay, sorry. Here we go. Moving along. You see my Instagram?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so when I'm talking about your grid post, I'm talking about this. All of these photos that you see that look like it's a grid. This is what I mean when I say if you're looking at this, you're very much going to feel like this is like a personal page, right? It's not until you dig into my captions and sliders and see what's behind like the first photo that you really get a feel for what it is that I do. And I do that, you know, extremely intentionally. So that's what I mean by grid posts. When I talk about stories, what I'm saying when I talk about stories is I'm talking about this right here, like where you can click behind, you know, someone's face and you can see like behind the scenes, or you can just see different things that someone's posting, me talking on camera, whatever. This is like non-curated, more like real-time content. Okay, so your stories, you can see if you're tapping through here, or like if I go home, then like at the very top where you see these bubbles, if I click on any of these people's face, then I'm going to be able to see what they posted on their story. Anything that you post on your story only lives there for 24 hours. So it's meant to be a behind the scenes of your day. Instagram adopted this from Snapchat, because Snapchat in 2015 and 2014 and 2015 like blew up for the fact that you could like send a photo to your friend and control how many seconds they had to watch it. So it encouraged people to send real-time, raw, unedited content, either with goofy filters or simple filters or whatever. And then once everyone loved that, then they adopted the story feature, which was simply, hey, you can send it directly to people, or you can just add these little snippets on your Snapchat story. And it's just like what Marist has been up to the last 24 hours. So that's what the idea behind stories is. It's the same thing on Facebook. So it's temporary content that will sit there for exactly 24 hours from the second that you post it until it goes later. Now, if you want to, you can post on your story and click the little, you're not gonna be able to see it on here. You can click a little highlight button. It's a little heart and it says highlight. And you can choose to add it to one of your little bubbles right here. These little pink bubbles. I'm highlighting this where it says like mood, mink, foods, around Sunday. Those little bubbles are called highlights. So you can drop content from your story down into a highlight. So anything you post, like your walkthroughs, you're at the closing table, you're at your client event that you have, you're eating in a local restaurant, you're touring a new subdivision, whatever you do, you have full control over what categories you create right here and what you put in them. So you can allow your stories to live on your profile forever if you want to collect things here. And I highly, highly recommend that as a realtor who's using this method to take advantage of this area to be related to your business. So you can do like, you know, new construction homes or Atlanta, Georgia homes or a suburb or whatever it is that you testimonials, whatever you think is going to be the most strategic for you to put there, and you can put there. So when you're adding to your stories and you're thinking about this as a behind the scenes of your day, what you'll end up doing is getting people hooked typically on wanting to see what you're posting in your story because it's unexpected. They never know what it is that you're going to be sharing, and they feel like they're a part of your journey. It's the same, I'm convinced it's like the same reason people intend to get hooked on like reality TV is like, even though it is probably scripted, like it's like kind of like a, hey, I shouldn't really be in this moment with this person, but there happens to be a camera there, like showing me this like glimpse and moment of time. It's definitely not like all those posts that I showed you where I clearly staged the picture, edited the photo, thought through my caption. Like that's very curated content. And you can have whatever perception you want of me when it's very curated and it's still content, or it's like me doing a very specific scripted reel or voice audio, whatever. But on my story, that's where I show up like I'm talking to my best friends. I show up on my story and it might be, hey, I posted me at the conference, but then it might be me in this is like a real thing that happened. I like left a conference one time and then went out and went to lunch and then went to my car and I had a flat tire. And I'm like documenting that whole thing on my story, right? So I could have always just left the perception of here's Maris doing a speaking thing. But no, I'm like, oh my gosh, you guys, like I have a flat tire and I like forgot to go to the bathroom and now I don't have a bathroom and I don't know what to do. And everyone's like DMing me like, oh my God, that sucks. I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And now I'm like building friendships with people because I'm talking to my followers, even though I haven't met the majority of them. I build relationships with them and they connect with me and I create opportunities for them to reply and end up in my DMs so where we can talk about whatever. It has nothing to do with marketing. But guess what? The more relationships like that I build over stuff that has nothing to do with marketing, they still see my name says Maris Marketing. They still see my 20% content of marketing, and they will reach out to me every single time when they have a random thought about marketing, or they need their listing books revamped, or they want to do a new logo in 2023. They're at least going to ask me. They're going to be like, do you do that? Or do you know someone that does that? Or they're thinking of me first. And every single person in this industry wants to be thought of first. When somebody thinks of one of the things that you do, I don't care if someone needs their house painted, you would want them to be like, hey, you're in real estate. Do you know anyone that paints houses? And you want to be that resource for that person. I have so many people ask me, what real estate agent should I call? It doesn't matter what state they're in. Sometimes they're in Arizona and they're like, Maris, like, do you know any agents in Arizona? And I don't even like, just because I'm somewhat associated with the industry, but you guys are following, right? Like I'm not posting houses every day, and I probably should get licensed so then I get money for all the referrals that I give out. But my point being, you can become known for what you want to be known for and not stress yourself out with trying to think of like the next tip or trick or voice over audio thing that you're going to post about. Okay. And on that note, stories are stories. They're temporary. They live behind your profile picture. Stories nurture and build relationships because they're not being pushed out to anybody. So what that means is they're there. They're not being shown on the explore page. They're not being like shown to people that don't follow you. They're a place that's intimate that you can create and should be creating opportunities for that engagement, because every single reaction, comment, reply goes immediately to your inbox. And then you get to control that conversation once it's in your inbox. And I promise you, if you post a video walking through a house, showing off the house and adding a poll, asking people to guess how much the house is worth, and you all you tell them is the city that it's in and the beds and baths, and you play a game with your audience and you get them to guess questions like that, or you get them to reply, or you do anything along those lines, right? Use your imagination in your own industry. People will be so much more likely to engage with that because they know it's private. As consumers, we feel safer engaging with someone's story than we do their public post, because we don't want to put our private thoughts or our opinions, most of us anyway, don't feel comfortable putting our questions and thoughts and opinions in a comment, because we know innately that everyone else who looks at this post will see that comment. And do we want people to know that? Well, I don't know. It feels weird most of the time. So you typically just don't do it. And what's even weirder would be to like go out of your way to then message that person to be like, hi, so-and-so, like I saw your post where you're having everyone guess about the price of the house, and now I'm messaging you. You don't want that. That feels weird to them. It feels weird to everybody. But they didn't want to leave a comment, and now you're just like out of luck and you have no engagement from that person because they didn't feel safe and comfortable. But when you create that opportunity in a safe and private place in your story, that person will actually engage with you because they know it's between you and them. And then you can carry on the conversation. And, you know, I'll give you guys my 3 before me rule for converting business like trick. But the bottom line is you guys are sales experts, I imagine, in your own field. So you convert business however you would if someone was in front of you when they're in your DMs. I'm trying to help get more people in your DMs. And that's why I'm literally harping on stories, because it's the greatest thing, the number one tool that you should be using. If it's your only tool, cool. That could be your only tool if you want it to be. Slap up 10 awesome posts on your grid and let them sit there and show up on your story every single day, multiple times, and you'll still be considered active. I don't post every day. You'll never see me post every day. I don't understand people that post every day. All of my clients want us to post every day. I make my team do it, but I advise against it. I don't get it. That's not where it's at. We don't want to bombard people with content. We want to create opportunities that feel intimate, not stock tip content, intimate content. That means your camera is recording your face or your surroundings or whatever you're comfortable doing, your coffee cup, your laptop, your whatever. Show a video of you browsing houses. That's a reminder that you're in real estate faster than anything else. Slap up something on there. DM me a house emoji if you want me to send you a list of all the active houses in your neighborhood or your whatever. That's like the easiest thing you could post on your story. It takes you 2 seconds and someone will probably reply just because they're going to be curious, right? And then you convert them from there. So get on stories. It's your intimate private place to do that. Okay. Now reels, completely different. When we talk about reels, we're talking about that short form vertical content. Here we go. We're already like going to be an hour. Do we have a hard stop at 2? I mean, I'll do like super close at 2. I'm not even.
No. We can keep going as long as you need.
Okay. I'm just going to keep going. If y'all have to jump off, it's getting recorded.
Yeah, it is. And also,
but I'm getting close to the end. I get myself all worked up and excited about talking about it. Okay.
Great, thank you.
So when we're talking about reels, this is what I mean. We're talking about like this content that lives in like your reels tab, that like when you go and watch any of these, if you watch this, you're going to see me talking.
To feel that they don't have time for social media.
I obviously paid attention to lighting. I have captions, audio captions. I have music playing in the background. Like when you craft a reel, that's not meant to be, a reel is not meant to be professionally, is not meant to be like the candid stuff you're throwing on your story, right? Like you're not going to post the story. I mean, you could about like the car and the tire, but that's not the time and place. This is a place for you to, yes, you can use a trending audio, but more importantly, especially in 2023, you want to follow like what I just did, where I'm using my own voice, because now it's like not cool anymore to like use which I know everyone's so annoyed about, which is why I hate trends, because as soon as a trend is a trend, it's like not cool anymore. And so everyone is like sick and bored of seeing like the voiceover stuff, or at least like when you're someone who's focused on like what's not going to work in 2023, that's like what's not going to work in 2023. It might still work now, but when we're talking about going into 2024, if you want to be like new and different than everyone who jumped on the trend bandwagon last year, now you have to use your own voice. And everyone just got used to even doing the voiceover audios, like probably like last month, you know? And that was, you're going to be your goal in 2023 is to do all the voiceovers. And now that's not cool anymore. So if that's not even more reason for me to stress, just stick to what's true and like timeless, which is your own voice. You can use the platform and the tools within it, but stick to your own voice and your own whatever. So what happens when you post a reel? When you post a reel, it gets pushed out primarily to people who do not know you. So like it's going to like the explore page right here. Like when I go to the explore page, it's showing me content that they think that I want to see. So you'll see reels, you'll see marketing tips. I'm going to see houses. I'm going to see cats. I'm going to see, you know, interior home stuff. This is all the stuff that I spend the most time on. So this is what Instagram is showing me to explore so I can discover new people. So when I'm browsing reels, I either can be in the reels tab. This is the desktop version, which like it's very rare that I use this, but like I don't know this realtor, I don't think, like, but I'm constantly seeing like realtors, marketing people, whatever, because whatever I consume the most is what it's going to show me to. So when you post a reel, you're chancing that other people who like similar content are going to be shown your reel, hopefully click on your page. When they go to your page, they're going to end up on your profile. They're going to see like your beautiful name and your bio and all of your stuff. And they're going to be like, oh, I like this person. They're going to click follow. So think of reels as bait. Okay. And honestly, like this is probably the place where the most of the time is when I talk about marketing. Like if I'm going to make a post about marketing, like I usually do it in some capacity as a reel. And I save my other content pillars for something else, just because I don't necessarily like need or want to attract people for like the ones that aren't my business. Like I do want, if I'm going to attract anybody new, I want it to be for marketing. I don't want it to be for like the food stuff or whatever. All those other content pillars are purely for my sphere. They're purely for the people who already like, know, and trust me, or kind of know me, or came to my conference once, or are people who are connected to more people that I want to work with. Right? You want to build like, know, and trust with everybody because everyone's connected to somebody else that you could work with. And if they love you and don't need to work with you, they'll still refer people to you. And what we're going for is repeat and referral in this class. Anyway, so your reels are bait. The bait should bring people to your profile. Your grid, they should be able to scroll. It should be clean, pretty enough. Doesn't have to be perfect. It should cover most of your content pillars. People should feel like they can dig into. No one comes to my page and isn't like, I could probably get to know Marist. I think like you probably feel like you could hang out here for a second and like stalk me for like a hot minute and like learn a lot of things. That's what you want people to feel. That makes you more intriguing and more, if you just only have houses and Canva graphics, then they got what they needed. They saw what they needed to see when they got there. And that's, they don't have a reason. They don't feel enticed to like, they're going to miss out on something. Right. And then, so that's your grid is for credibility and for locking people in with showing what you're about and communicating your content pillars. Your story is for nurturing and building those relationships and super importantly, creating opportunities. So when I say creating opportunities for engagement and people are starting to engage with you, this is where I'm going to give y'all my 3 before me rule. My 3 before me rule is when someone engages with you, especially, well, primarily when it's not about the thing that you're trying to sell them or the business you want from them, you have to go 3 questions deep with them before you talk about yourself. So, I mean, this is great in person too. I do it in person too. And it's just something I came up with because as you can all have witnessed, I talk a lot. And so it's very easy, and it's very easy for everyone to constantly be thinking about themselves. So just as much as you probably are thinking about yourself too much, whoever you're talking to is thinking about themselves. They're funneling everything you're saying through either their own experiences, or they are thinking just about what they have to do next and they're trying to be done with the conversation. So the way that you get people hooked into the conversation and invested and actually listening to what you're about to tell them is you talk about them first. So let's say someone DMs me about a recipe and they're like, Maris, I love, like, send it. I want the recipe. Then I'll be like, oh, of course. Awesome. Then I'll go check out their page. And I'm like, how was Christmas? Like, it's so great that you guys like didn't get stuck in the snowstorm and your flight didn't get canceled. So many people's flights got canceled. And they're gonna be like, oh my God, yeah, like I was so happy. Like our flight almost got canceled, but it didn't. And they're like, oh, that's great. Like, what airline did you fly Southwest or not fly Southwest? I'm going 3 questions deep on anything else other than the business. I just pulled it out of nowhere. You can be like, what, you can literally ask anything. Like, it depends on the person, the situation. But a really good trick is to be like, I've seen you've been traveling a lot, or I've seen you've had a lot of, I don't know, your kid just graduated. Like, find something they shared about. If you don't know what they shared about, then ask them something else. And then whenever you're talking to, thanks, Jason. I'm going to send y'all, okay, too, before everybody jumps off, let me send you the discount code to the course in case you ever want it. And then here's the course. So the course again is like, it's Maris 100 is going to be the code. The course is just like, if you want to learn like all my tips and tricks for like the inside stuff. But anyways, so when you're talking to people and you ask and you do the 3 before me, you're doing that so that they're 3 questions deep on what it is that they want to, something that they care about. And once you do that, they will always turn around and be like, well, how are you doing? And now they're invested in the conversation. So when they're invested in the conversation and you say, I'm killing it, I'm in real, like, I just sold 3 houses, or the market has been insane this last month. You know, it was so, and then you could be like, it was so good to catch up with you though. Like, we should grab a drink soon, or coffee soon, or go on a walk soon, or whatever your connection is with that person. Like, you don't have to go all in on that, but that person is now going to actually be like, oh yeah, this person's in real estate and they care about me. They care more about me than like anybody else that DM'd me today. And now I feel closer to that person. So 3 before me is a great tactic. And then the last thing that I want to remind you guys of is when you're posting about any of your content pillars, like your 5 content pillars, the way that you add value in the post, whether you're posting about your dog or, you know, your husband or whatever it is you want to funnel everything through what we're going to call the 3 E's. So the 3 E's are entertaining your audience. You want your post to entertain your audience. I'm typing this as I'm talking. Educating your audience, or engaging your audience. So you want it to entertain, educate, or engage your audience. So what that means is basically like something that's funny or heartfelt or anything like that will entertain your audience. Videos can be very entertaining, all that kind of stuff. Educating is obviously like, you can entertain them with a video, but then you're packing your caption with like educational value on a certain subject that you're talking about. Engaging is specifically asking for the engagement. So the example I'm going to give is if it's your dog's birthday and you're giving your dog a little pup cup or whatever from Starbucks for your dog's birthday and you're like, this is one of my content pillars, I am going to post about this. You can record a video and say, happy birthday to my dog. You know, she gets a pup cup. That's entertaining to people. You can make it a reel. You can add a trending audio. That's a great post. People will feel heartfelt from that post. You can educate your audience. You can tell them how old your dog is. You can tell them what a pup cup is, where you get a pup cup, what it's made out of, why it's safe for dogs, and like the local, where the closest Starbucks is to you, or all the Starbucks locations in your zip code. If you wanted to make something super educating, right? And some people don't know that you can give their dog a pup cup, and so you're educating them. Or you can make it purely just engaging, and you can say, I'm about to drive to Starbucks and get a pup cup. Have you ever given your dog a pup cup before? And you ask your audience to engage with that. And everyone who's ever done it is going to write back and be like, oh my gosh, yes, my dog loves it, or this, that, the other. So whenever you're thinking about your content, if you funnel it through the 3 E's, it'll leave people with the feeling overall, when you do this consistently, that you're enjoyable to follow. And when you're posting about your business at least 20% of the time, people will never, ever forget that you are in real estate, or you're a transaction coordinator, or a lender, or whatever it is that you do in marketing. They're not going to forget that. And then the last but most important tip that I'm going to give you is, if you do nothing on social media and you never post a day in your life and you never create those opportunities yourself, the only thing that is going to be better than anything I already said in creating brand awareness is you engaging with your target audience's content. You should be having a list. And again, all of this is in my course, my list template, everything that you would need to like implement all of this is in there. But you would want to create, I call it like the Hot 100 and the VIP. It's essentially 2 different types of lists of people. You connect with them, and then you start tracking, and your time spent on social media. If you're like, I'm only going to dedicate 30 minutes a day, cool. Then the only thing you're going to do is you're going to go through this exercise. And you are going to say the thing, like you're going to go through and you're going to engage with people, and you're going to follow the $1.80 rule that I teach in there. And what's going to happen is your engagement with these people, the way that I teach you how to do it in there, is basically going to make you more top of mind with that person, because of the feeling they're left with, how much you care about them. And then if you do have never post, they'll pay a lot more attention, not only because of the algorithm is going to show your stuff more, but they're just going to feel more inclined to want to engage back with you. And so they're going to pay attention closer to what you're doing. But you having brand awareness by engaging with them, because they're thinking about themselves 24/7, is the best way to stay in front of people. I know everyone that engages with my stuff, and I'm closer and way more likely to engage, do favors, give stuff away, give free advice, whatever it is, with the people who engage with me consistently, than I am to treat them like it feeling like a transactional business relationship, because it feels like we have a friendship. So I say that to say, like, build those friendships, like use social media to build and nurture relationships that will guarantee that you are the person they're going to call. No questions asked when they need something, or they hear somebody needs what it is that you offer. I get referrals from people who have never worked with me a day in their life. And it's all because we're friends and they know what I do, right? They trust me because they trust me, and they trust that they know my social proof, they know my history, but most importantly, half the time they don't even know what I do. They're just like, well, it's marketing, so go talk to Maris. So like, I know a girl. That's what you guys want to be. You want to be that person. It's like, I know a guy, I know a girl. You want to do that for other people, and you want other people to think of you when they're in that situation. So this is how I've done it for my business. I really, really hope that this is helpful to you guys. Chrissy, I don't know if we have, do you want me to go and see if there's any questions in here? I think we have one. Okay, let's. Jason's so sweet. If I have a targeted list of cell numbers and names, is there a way we can make sure our content is in view for them? Date of birth as well. Ooh, I don't know I wonder if anybody else knows. You used to be able to do like retargeting based on like Excel spreadsheets when you're doing ads. I mean, as far as like you mass looking up contacts based on all that information. I can look that up. I've never personally done that. I'm more of like an old school type of like, I just make sure, number one, I connect with people always. Put QR codes to your social medias. Like get a link tree, I just learned about Lookbook Link, like it's like a new digital. And I'll tell you about that too, in case you want to tell anyone, but the owner just created it like a year ago. It's called Lookbook Link, and it's like a digital business card, but you can have videos and PDFs, and it's like a next level type of digital business card. It seems really cool. I just connected with the owner. So I'm about to get one this week. But yeah, Lookbook Link. Anyway, my point is try and connect with people in real time best you can, as far as like your existing sphere. That's like kind of the sheets that I have that I use for going through and like figuring that out. But Jason, if I can figure that out for you, I will look that up and let you know. And then if anyone else had any other questions, you guys can DM me at any time at Maris Marketing. If you join the course, I go really deep into all of that. It's a go at your own pace 4-module thing. You have $100 off with Christy's code that I gave. It's Marist100 if you're just listening and not looking in the chat. And yeah.
I do have one quick question, Maris.
Yeah.
You said to do a professional creator account on Instagram. If you already have an Instagram account, can you switch it over to that?
You can.
Okay.
Yes. So you can just go into, if you're in the little hamburger menu, when you're facing your profile and you click on, you go into settings and you go to account, you scroll all the way to the bottom, there'll be a blue link that says switch account type. If you're currently a personal account, it's going to ask you to switch to a professional profile first. Once you switch to a professional profile, it'll then require you to choose a title. So you have to type in and select a title. And then it'll say, okay, now you're professional. We have your title. Do you want to be a business professional or a creator professional? If you are currently a professional business account looking to be a creator, when you click that blue link that says switch account type, it's going to say, do you want to be a creator? Do you want to be personal? And that you would just hit creator.
Got it. Okay. Awesome.
But yeah.
Anybody
But you're
else?
awesome for putting this together for your people. I think that
Oh,
y'all
okay.
are super lucky to have Christy put this together, just because she's so awesome. And again, if you missed it in the beginning, she is adamant about giving you guys more value, and check her out if you haven't already.
Thank you, Maris, and thank you so much for all the content. I've got like 3 pages of notes. It's so good. And I know I've heard some of this information before, but it's, just reiterating it. And I think 2023 is going to be a great year if we just implement what you teach us.
Oh, good. I'm happy to be here. Thanks again for having me. And I hope to talk to you and everyone else soon.
All right. Thank you so much. Thanks, guys, for being here.
Yeah. Bye, everyone.